Alright, this is part 4 of our 10-part video series showcasing the models from the board game Dreadfleet. Skretch of Clan Scurvy, the Skaven Rat Lord, was brought low by a sea monster called an orb leviathan in a mighty sea battle. In the battle, the leviathan bit through his ship and swallowed his crew. The Skaven rat men, swallowed alive, began to gnaw and eat the creature from within, and eventually they were all dragged into death together. The vampire Count Noctilus discovered the corpse of the sea monster and raised it from the dead in a necromantic ritual. To his surprise, the Skaven within the corpse also rose up and used their screaming bell to disrupt his necromantic magic and his control. An accord was soon reached, and Skretch Half-Dead joined the Dreadfleet and would ride the waves again in the Skabrus. So I really enjoyed painting this model. I like the fleshy skin I put on it. I thought that turned out really well. A neat part of this model too was you had sort of the guts on the inside, you had the skin, and there's bones, and then there's a bit of these metal orbs. So there's kind of a variety of things to paint and different textures, and that was a lot of fun. It's a really neat model, really unique, I think. There's not a lot of ships that look like hollowed out Skaven rotten fish floating around. So that was cool. To get the skin color right, I used a series of washes. I think I used a purple wash, and I think it's called Leviathan. I used an Ogren flesh. The wash, once known as Ogren Flesh, became Agrax Earthshade. Agrax Earthshade is a brown wash I use for quite a lot of things, actually. The bones and everything are really cool. So for painting bone, I typically start with a brown color and then work up to the bleach bone, which is sort of a creamy off-white. After the bleach bone, I'll typically throw in a wash with the Agrax Earthshade, and then use white, and I think it's called White Scar for the highlights. Oh, and here I'm highlighting the skin with grays and then up to whites, and kind of gives it a necrotic flesh look. So like the skin is dead at the edges is what I was going for there. Yeah, so painting all this, the insides, there's boardwalks and different organs, and I just used a variety of reds, from I think a corn red to a blood red. Trying to get the tongue right took a few tries. When I'm painting the tongue here, it started off red, and then I tried to do purple, and then I moved it up to pink, and so it's really kind of playing around, and I go back and forth between putting the model on and seeing what it look like and what you can actually see. When this game came out, Nurgle's Rot hadn't been released, and I immediately wanted to use it when I saw kind of the entrails. I don't know how to describe the texture. It's fairly snotty, kind of a gloopy paint. It's a fun product, and it kind of gives it a rotten, shiny, pustulant, nurgly. I thought that worked really well. I spent a lot of time on the inside of the model, painting its guts, and I didn't realize there was 2 sets of cannons till later, so I went to put on the second set of cannons, and you basically can't see anything on the inside of the model after that. So it was a lot of work, and there's a lot of detail on these little organs, and then once you put the model together and put it out on the battlefield, you can't really see any of that. So that part was a little disappointing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, take care, subscribe. Stay tuned next week where we look at the Swordfysh. This is one of my favorite ships. It's a really cool pirate ship captained by a mermaid. It's one of the first ships where we start getting into really detailed sails. So we'll talk about that, and the sails look really neat.